Hi everyone, it's Annabel here from Impronat, and today I'm joined by Tia Rose.
Hello.
Who finished high school last year, so she's 18, currently having a gap year, and we've got a lot of interesting questions around a number of different topics that Tia Rose is interested in. So we'll just get right into it. First of all, the first topic we're going to be talking about is music, which is a big interest of yours.
Yep.
Now, how did you first become interested in music?
I think a lot of it, I started percussion when I was about in year one.
Yep.
And I did that. And people seemed to think that I was like good at it. And then I've also done violin.
Okay.
But I think when I got a bit older, I started more experimenting with different styles and genres of music.
Yeah. Nice. Now, what genres of music do you enjoy the most and why?
I prefer the more of the alt rock early 90s scene. So like a lot of the bit more older bands as well.
Yep.
Even 70s and 80s I do enjoy.
Cool. Now, can you play any musical instruments? If so, which ones, and how did you learn them?
Well, I did percussion and violin, and that was all in school.
Nice.
So that was pretty easy. But and I'm trying to learn electric guitar, but it's a bit harder not having someone to like teach you.
Yeah.
Like it's all has to be done online. So it's a bit harder, but I'm trying.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Now, how does your music influence your daily life and mood?
Quite a lot. I sort of have kind of surrounded myself with music a lot, and it's become quite a big part of my life. I think a lot of the time with the genres of music I listen to, it can make you a little bit upset and sad, but it also can make you feel empowered in a way, which I find.
Yeah. Now, who are your favourite musicians or bands, and what do you like most about their music?
Well, we were talking about Nirvana. They're my favourite band. I also listen to like Alice in Chains, Radiohead, a bit of Soundgarden, Pink Floyd, Queen, a bit of Elton John, bit of Carpenters as well, like all kind of different varieties. Not too much onto the very heavy rock of the 80s. I kind of find it a bit industry.
Yeah. Very cool. So how do you discover new music to listen to?
Well, Spotify is a good start because it's got everything on it.
Yep.
And you can put it on a playlist and it will just play a bunch of playlists. And I do like a lot of digital music and also physical music, but physical music's expensive.
Yeah.
Like records are like $80 these days.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they look great in the house. So.
Yeah.
Now, can you share a time when music helped you through a difficult situation?
I feel like just my whole teenage life has been very chaotic. I've had a lot of problems with just people, you know, the whole teenage things, especially. I went to an all-girls school.
Okay.
And they're pretty difficult to
bullying.
handle. Yeah.
I went to one of those for a bit. Not fun.
So I think I've also like kind of taking myself away from just how high school is and sort of putting myself into a different mindset, like by listening to different types of music. I think that's what's helped me through.
Yeah, for sure. Now, what role do you think music education plays in a young person's development?
I think music is it's also good for your brain. It's learning different chord progressions, even just lyrics, learning how to write lyrics, learning how to play instruments. It's all good for your brain and good for development, and also just helps relieve stress.
Yeah.
Like playing a musical instrument when you're upset or something is always like a good way to relieve some.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to animals. So you're an avid animal lover.
I am.
Do you have any pets? If so, can you tell us about them?
Yes. So I have 4 cats. Kind of an accident. I originally had 1 cat.
Yeah.
And I got him for my 10th birthday because I love cats and I was a big cat obsessed when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then where we're living now, people have unfortunately dumped a lot of cats, pregnant ones especially, and
awful.
And, you know, me and my mum are big cat lovers. So we just felt like feeding her while she was pregnant. And, you know, the problem with that is they start to develop a relationship with you and you develop a relationship with them, and it becomes harder to, you know, say goodbye. But she gave birth to a set of 5 cats originally. 2 of them have run away somewhere, but we still have 3 of the cats now.
Wow.
But she gave birth another time.
Oh my goodness, this poor cat.
Yeah. And I watched it.
Yeah. Wow.
It was quite eye-opening. But we had to say goodbye to her and her kittens. So we just have 4 now.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, great. And so how do you think interacting with animals benefits mental health and well-being?
For me, quite a lot. I feel like sometimes because animals, they just kind of love you for you.
Unconditionally.
Yeah. And there's not really any sort of barrier in between that. Like with people, it's a lot harder to develop relationships, I feel like, just personally. And I feel like with animals, I've always been able to do that a lot easier.
Yeah. What are some interesting facts about animals that you've learned recently?
I know that penguins have knees inside of their like belly. So you know how like they waddle?
Really interesting.
But they actually do have knees.
Oh my goodness, that is like something that I've just learnt today.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a good one. If you could have any exotic animal as a pet, which one would you choose and why?
Oh, Instagram's been like feeding me like a bunch of animal content.
Okay.
And there's like these little tiny small sand cats, and they're very small. They're really small.
Is it like a domestic cat?
No, they're not domesticated, but they're like a very small cat, and they look like kittens even at like a fully grown age.
Oh my God, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's
they're
adorable.
Like, really cute.
Okay, so you'd have a sand cat.
Yeah.
Very good. Do you support any animal conservation efforts or organisations?
Yes, the one, it's like the Great Barrier Reef one.
Yep.
I forgot the name of it. I've supported those.
Yeah.
Obviously, like Daintree Rainforest ones. Amazon Rainforest, you know, all the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I probably should look into more, but, you know.
Yeah, no, that's great. Now, can you share a memorable experience that you've had with an animal? Doesn't have to be your pets, but it can be any animal.
I think mostly at my work, weirdly.
Yep.
Like, because we give out treats to animals whenever they come by. And it's just...
That's so sweet.
Yeah, but they always want more.
Oh, yeah.
You give them one, and they just
Especially
sit there,
dogs.
watch... Yeah, they just sit there and watch you until they leave.
I know.
That's always the cutest thing about... It's just seeing something like that.
Yeah. Now, what are some ways that you think people can be more responsible pet owners?
Don't dump your animals.
That's a big one. Isn't it horrible to think people actually do that?
Yeah, especially...
Like, how could someone do that to an animal?
I don't know. I don't know.
People should not be having them.
No.
Sad, isn't it? Now, how do you incorporate your love for animals into your daily life?
Just being with my cats. Honestly, that's pretty much the biggest thing. You know, sometimes I try not to look at news. I try and look at more animal content instead of like, you know, the disastrous world that sometimes we live in.
Yeah.
I think that's something I also do. Even just zoning out and playing with my cats.
Yeah.
Instead of being online.
Yeah.
That's also a good thing.
It's nice. Okay, great. So now let's move on to gaming, as we know that's something you're also interested in. So what types of games do you enjoy playing the most?
I first started playing Minecraft, which is obviously probably one of the biggest games. But I also play Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley. I played a lot of multiplayer, especially on the Switch.
Okay.
Because all my friends have Switches. It's kind of easy to...
So you play like online with your friends?
Yeah.
Great. How did you get into gaming, and what was the first game you ever played?
Minecraft was the first game I played.
Oh, okay.
I remember like downloading it when it was like free all the way back, probably about 12 years ago. Wow. And that's how I started.
Yeah. Nice. Do you prefer single player or multiplayer games, and why?
It really depends. Sometimes I do like to just do single player by myself, but multiplayer is also really fun.
Yeah.
Especially when, you know, during COVID, that was what most people were doing.
Yeah.
It's also a good way to sometimes still interact with people, even when it's, you're far away or...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of your all-time favourite games and what do you love about them?
Minecraft, definitely. I do love Stardew Valley. I played a lot.
Okay.
A lot with my friends.
Yeah.
Even weirdly, like Mario Kart. I used to...
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
On the Switch.
Yeah.
So fun.
I used to also, like, play, like, all the old Super Mario World games on, like, the old DS.
Nintendo 64?
No, I had a DS. Like
the actual...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Yeah. So cool. How do you think gaming has evolved over the years? And what excites you about the future of gaming?
I think people's perspective on it has changed. Like, I feel like early in the beginning of when gaming was becoming popular, there was sort of like a negative effect on it. And I guess it still is with, like, people say gaming causes violence.
Okay, yeah. I guess it depends on what games you play as well. But
personally, I don't think it does because I don't have any violent urges.
Yeah,
but that's... I think there's people that still think that way.
Yeah.
But I think that's become less of a more, like, known thing. I don't know how to explain it. But I think people... I think also people just see it as even just playing with family.
Yeah.
That can also be, like, a good bonding experience.
Definitely.
Which I think a lot of families probably didn't do that when it first became popular. But now I think people have sort of started doing that a bit more.
For sure. Okay, so that's all we've got for gaming. We've got a few more questions that we would just like to ask you, just about life in general. What is something you wished your younger self would have known?
Don't think about popularity as much, because high school is a big popularity contest, and, when I was in year 7 and 8, I thought it was the biggest thing, and I thought that if I had a big following on Instagram, people would like me or whatever, and it's just like, you leave high school and none of that matters. None of it matters.
Very, very wise words. Now, what was something you wish you had learned sooner?
I think that, but also, I guess, trying to follow in a way that doesn't follow the crowd. I wish I would have explored myself earlier, what I was interested in. I felt sort of a bit trapped in what I should have been doing from what other people thought I should have done instead of what I actually wanted to do.
Yeah. How has high school impacted you and your perspective?
Well, going to an all-girls high school, you realise that a lot of girls are mean, but they're also going through a lot themselves. And I think that's something to keep in mind. And having to change schools into a very small school. I went to a school with literally 12 students.
Wow.
More staff than students, and that was because it was a special school.
Yeah.
In Westmead Hospital, the Children's Hospital.
Yep.
And I had to go there. And you start to, I think, because everyone had similar sort of situations with school.
Okay, yep.
It became a bit more of a nicer environment. And
you'll be able to maybe relate to each other.
Yeah, and people just, they don't really want to spread drama. It's like, that's the last thing that is on people's minds.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what is something that you wish to do in the future?
I do wish to do music, but I also wish to hopefully do a bit of study in just different aspects.
Yeah.
I think that careers can change a lot over time.
Absolutely.
And I am willing to see if that will change over time and also learn.
Yeah.
I can always go back to uni whenever I feel like it. Or
are you studying something at the moment?
No, I'm taking a gap year.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I haven't really thought about it because I want to get more work in.
Yeah, I got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
As well. Okay, so how do you wish to improve on yourself?
I think confidence is a big thing. I've always been very not confident, very shy. I think that's something I want to improve on.
Yeah. Now, last question, which is quite an important one. How would you improve a nation in Australia?
Well, I think looking at the rest of the world and especially America, don't follow in their footsteps because we're seeing how divided it's becoming and how unhappy people are coming. And I feel like even in Sydney in Australia, people aren't always the happiest, even though I think we've got like rated like one of the happiest countries in the world. And I'm like, are you sure about that?
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, are you sure about that? I feel like people just, especially in Sydney.
Yeah.
No one...
Maybe that could be somewhere like in Queensland or something. I don't know.
That's what I thought.
Don't think Sydney. Yeah.
Yeah, Sydney's not.
Yeah. Anyway, that's great. Great response. So thank you so much for joining us, Tia Rose, and hopefully we will catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you.